वहाँ तो Hello everyone. Good evening, Sahil. Good evening, Aman. Hello, Akshay. Hello, Manish. I think this is your first class with me, right? Yeah, Sahil, I'm good. Hello, Nilesh. Good evening, Amritansh. Good evening, Utkarsh. Great. So I think a lot of people have already joined. Today, I'll be giving you a demo on Gmat. So as all of you are aware that I have scored 770 on Gmat, and I'll share what exactly happens and how do we do it. First and the foremost thing is getting the basics clear. If your basics are right, you will be walking through any exam with flying colors. But that's not the end. After clearing the basics, like if I talk about clearing the basics, it doesn't mean that you should remember all the formulae, all the techniques. No, that is a secondary stage. The primary thing which should be there in all of us is the understanding of the formula, understanding of the generalizations and observations. So my way of dealing with any topic, be it mathematics or be it verbal or be it reasoning, is all about understanding the concepts and logically deriving it. Clear? So that is what we'll be doing. Today it will just be a kind of a glimpse, a sneak peek into iQuanta's way of preparing you. And I'll start with, basically there are 4 sections in Gmat, and the most important ones are problem solving, data sufficiency. PS and DS are actually one section. So problem solving is basically mathematics. The mathematics that you have studied till standard 10th is something which comes under problem solving. Data sufficiency is again mathematics, but it's given in a different way, a different form. I'll just show you the form there. Apart from that, the language part would be consisting of sentence corrections, reading comprehension passages, and critical reasoning. So these are the 2 primary sections. Apart from that, there is integrated reasoning, and then we have analytical writing as well. So I'll be guiding you through all the 4 sections of Gmat once we start the regular classes. Good evening, Manisha. Manish says how to target 100%. Great, Manish. That is something I'm really happy at your dedication. So let's start it. The first question that I want to discuss over here is a question of data sufficiency. Now, I'll tell you something about humans, how humans think. There's something which might be happening with all of you. So it starts with, for example, any problem is given to you, any kind of problem, be it mathematical, be it personal, be it observational, any problem, whenever a human gets a problem, his first response is to solve that problem. He wants to find the solution of the problem. All right? Do you agree with me? If you agree with me, just give a thumbs up. So whenever you get a problem, your first response, your first reaction would be to find the solution of that problem. Right? And like, of course, we cannot find solutions to all the problems, like existence of God and all that stuff, ghosts. We cannot find the solutions, but still we try to find the solution. That is where the exploration comes. So we humans are explorers. We are observers. We are creators. And the very reason of existence is this hard wiring of our brains that we want to find a logical solution to everything. Now, this is what data sufficiency does to you. So in Gmat, what they want to do, like data sufficiency is not about finding the problem. That is the main statement here. Data sufficiency is not about finding the solution to the problem. It's about the reasons to find a solution. All right. So because this is why data sufficiency is a difficult task. Once we get the problem, we'll try to calculate everything and then try to find the answer, and then we will mark our solution, mark our response. But that's not the ideal way. And what makes it difficult? DS in itself is not a difficult topic. Mathematics in itself is not a difficult topic. The difficulty is that we are humans and we are used to finding the solutions to problems, but data sufficiency wants you to understand whether you can find the solution or not. Okay, and that is what makes it difficult. And once you understand this, once you realize that are you able to find the solution, data sufficiency is sorted. That's the one-liner thing. If you understand, if you realize that you have all the tools, all the formulae, all the observations, all the generalizations, all the knowledge to find the solution, that is what data sufficiency asks you. So if you can read this, see, there are two statements given over here. And by using these two statements, we have to find out whether we can find the solution or not. I'm repeating, we don't have to find the solution. We have to find whether we can find the solution or not. Clear? Yeah. Before coming to the question, I'll just answer a doubt of Akshay. Akshay, okay, yeah. When compared to CAT, Gmat would be less difficult. If we talk about mathematical part of it, if we talk about the linguistic language part of it, it is slightly difficult than CAT. Overall, Gmat is easier than CAT. And there's one more thing. Gmat is written by 30,000 students across India. If we talk only about India, not about the entire world. In India, 30,000 students write Gmat, whereas CAT is written by 2.3 lakh students. So this path is less traveled. The path of Gmat is less traveled. And that is what makes all the difference. You must have heard the poetry, read the poetry of Robert Frost, who says, I walked the road less traveled, and that made all the difference. So getting into Gmat is easier. Well, let's discuss this question first of all. So here, it's written, you have to mark A if the question can be answered by using statement 1 alone, mark B if it can be answered by using statement 2 alone, mark C if it can be answered by using either of the statements, like either statement is self-sufficient to answer the question, mark C. Mark D if you can answer only when you use both these statements simultaneously, and you mark E if you cannot answer the question by using both these statements. All right. We don't have to find the answer. Mind that, we just have to find whether we can find the solution or not. Is that clear? If that's clear, just show me a thumbs up that we have to find out whether we can find the solution or not. All right? Let's do that. First statement says the number of male executives is 3/5 the number of female executives. All right. The question is, here we have to find out how many executives are there. The question is, how many executives are there? Mathematically speaking, if I represent all the male executives by M and female executives by F, this is what I have to find. So first of all, we have identified the problem. The problem is M plus F. That is what we have to, that is the problem. The first statement just gives the ratio of male employees to the male executives to the female executives. Now, what is ratio? Ratio is an indicative term. Ratio is not the absolute term. For example, if I have 30 rupees in my pocket and you have 20 rupees in your pocket, if I tell people, okay, I have 30, you have 20. But if I say, for every 3 rupees that I have, you have 2 rupees, of course, we won't be able to find out the exact number of rupees in our pockets. So absolute number cannot be found out if only ratio is given. But it gives an idea about the absolute number, right? So if we look at statement 1 alone, we can just derive one thing that the ratio of male executives to the female executives is 3:5. All right? That is what we can find out. But we cannot find out the exact number. Now, second statement says there are 4 more female executives than male executives. Without even framing the expression, we can answer this. See, this part was in terms of ratio. Literally speaking, this part is just an indication. It is an indicative information, and this is absolute information, right? This is absolute information. So if we know the ratio of males to females is 3:5, and if from the second statement we know that females in absolute terms, there are 4 more females than the males. That means we can relate the absolute quantity to the indicative quantity and find the answer. We can find the number of males as well as females, then add them up. This is all. That means we are using both the statements and we'll mark D. Most of you answered that question, but because it's the first class, demo class, I'll show you the mathematical part of it as well. By the way, it's not required. If we talk about mathematical part, if I assume the number of males to be m, then males are 3/5 of the females. So that is what we get from the, just a minute. This is what we get from the first statement. The second statement says that there are 4 more females than the number of males. So this is very easy now. By using both the expressions, we can just do one thing. We can represent m in terms of f. So we can basically replace m by 3/5 of f, and we can find the value of f. Simultaneously, we can find the value of m. That is the mathematical part. Right? There is the conventional mathematical part, though it is not required, but because it's the first class, I'm just explaining it. This is the conventional mathematical part. Now, what if I tell you that we don't have to use the conventional part as well? Even if we go mathematical, we don't have to use the conventional part. We can just use a shortcut, okay? So, excited to know the shortcut of this? Akshay, you said female executive multiple 5? Of course, that's right. And males will be multiples of 3. Okay, are you excited to know the shortcut of this question? Well, males to females, the ratio is 3:5. That means if in that company, in that organization, there are 3 males, there will be five females. So for every 3 males, we have 5 females. What does that mean? That means that in a group of 8, see, the ratio can be understood in 3 different ways. The first way is for every 3 males, there are 5 females. The second way is for every 8 executives in the organization, 3 will be males, 5 will be females. All right? All right? So initially, I was talking about males and females independently. Now I'm talking about the entire thing, entire group of 8, which has 3 males and 5 females. The third way is that in a group of 8, the gap between the number of male executives and female executives will be 2. Right? And this third way is the shortcut to our question. Understood? Why? Because second statement talks about the difference. It is talking about 4 more. That means it is talking about the difference between the number of executives. So in terms of ratio, the difference is 2. In terms of ratio, the difference is 2. In absolute terms, in real terms, the ratio is 4. That means 2 units of ratios are equivalent to 4 executives in the real world. Got it? Got that? Akshay? Yeah, I'm repeating. See, in the domain of ratios, in the world of ratios, in terms of ratios, the difference between male and female is 2. And from this statement, it is known that the absolute difference is 4. That means 2 parts of ratio would be equivalent to 4 parts in the real world. That means the real world is 2 times of the world of ratios. All right. Is that clear? I think that's clear. And in the world of ratios, there were 8 people. The group had 8 people. So 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. And that is how we can find the number of people. But that was not required. As I said, data sufficiency wants you to realize whether the solution is verifiable or solution can be found or not. So we have solved this. I hope this is clear to you. This question was not about solving. This question is about making you understand that what data sufficiency requires from you. Going to next one. Oh, this is the same question. All right. If a square region has area n, what is the length of the diagonal of the square in terms of n? That is what we have to find. This is not data sufficiency, this is problem solving. This is mathematics. Here we have to actually find the solution. So I'll wait for 2 minutes, later answers come, and then I'll discuss the problem. Cool. So let us try to find out the solution. There is a square region and the area is n. So before solving this, let us assume that the side of the square is a units, all right? And all of us know that area of a square is basically the square of the length of its side. That means area will be equal to a square. A is an assumption we have to find in terms of n that we'll be doing later. So for us, the area is a square. For them, the area is n. So I can say that n is equal to a square. And this is what our connecting link will be to the solution. Okay, and they are saying that we have to find the length of diagonal of the square in terms of n. Diagonal of a square is this one. Well, to find the length of the diagonal, we can use Pythagoras theorem. All right. We can use Pythagoras theorem. So Pythagoras theorem is square root of sum of the squares of perpendicular and base. So basically, this will be the length of the diagonal. Square root of a square plus a square, or we can say square root of 2a square. If I take a out, I'll get a root 2. So this a root 2 is the length of the diagonal. And this is what we have to find out. This is what we have to find out in terms of n. All right. From the first statement, I can say that a is equal to positive square root of n. Why do I say positive square root of n? Because the area and the length of the square can never be negative unless it is a vector field. Okay, we are not going to that. A is equal to square root of n. I'll just put this here and I'll get square root of n multiplied by square root of 2. I can take both n and 2 inside, and square root of 2n would be the correct answer. Most of you found it. Great, well done. But this is the level of questions in Gmat. Some questions can of course be difficult, but this is the moderate level of Gmat. It's not a difficult task. There are some questions which can actually be difficult that of course we'll be discussing in the regular sessions. Cool. Now going to the next one. Okay. Very basic question. If you remember your standard 8th geometry, you'll be able to solve this. In triangle ABC, what is x in terms of z? This is what we have to find. In terms of z. So let's do that. Well, all of us know that the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. If we talk about triangle ABC, angle A is x, angle B, this total angle is 37 plus z, and this one is 70. Sum of the interior angles of a triangle is always equal to 180 degrees. All right. So let's solve for z. Let's solve for x. So x will be equal to 180 degrees minus 37 minus z minus 70, bringing everything towards the right hand side. This is what we get. All right. So this comes out to be 73 minus z. That is option E. Cool enough? Rayman, Aman, both of you have got the answer correct. Well done. Cool. So I have just taken the basic question just to give you a glimpse of what we do over here. But great. That means your basics are clear. I'm really happy to see that. Now this one. This is data sufficiency again. So I have mixed geometry and data sufficiency over here. The question says, what is the volume of the cube? There are two statements. The surface area of the cube is 600 square inches. 600 square inches. Second one says length of diagonal AB is 10 root 3 inches. So we have to find out the volume. Right? No. We have to find out whether we can find the volume or not. Data sufficiency. Remember that? This is very important. We have to find out whether we can find the volume or not. Well, so identifying the problem statement. If we identify the problem statement, the volume of any cube is basically equal to cube of its side. This is what we have to find out. This is the problem statement. From statement 1, surface area, what is it? It's 6 times the value of square of side. Let me write side as A units. So V will be equal to cube of A. Let this side be A units. So find the surface area is basically equal to 6 times the square of side. This will give us 600. All right. So tell me something. Can we find out the answer by using statement 1 alone? Yes or no? Yes or no? We don't have to calculate. This is basically an equation in one variable. We can of course find out its value and put in here and we can find the answer. So statement 1 alone is sufficient. Statement 2, length of diagonal of a cube is given by A root 3. Again, we can use the Pythagoras theorem over here, and this is 10 root 3. So again, we can find the value of A, therefore we can find the value of V as well. So we can find the solution to this problem. See, I have not yet given you the answer. It's not required. So we can find the solution by using either of these statements alone. Both these statements independently are sufficient to answer this question. Well done. Next one. Well, this is critical reasoning, and this is where a lot of people actually flunk. This can be a difficult task. Well, let us read the statement first. There is some cognitive scientist, okay? There is some cognitive scientist, and this guy has made a statement. He says, using the pioneering work of comparative psychologist Gordon Collop as a model, several studies have investigated animals' capacity for mirror self-recognition, also known as MSR, mirror self-recognition. Okay, so you must have seen some. Okay, all the humans look at mirrors, but do animals look at mirrors? Do they realize this is not an other individual? This is me. So this is something which the study is talking about. So there's a psychologist, comparative psychologist called Gordon Gallup, and upon the pioneering work of comparative psychologist Gordon Gallup as a model, several studies have investigated animals' capacity for mirror self-recognition. Most animals exposed to a mirror respond only with social behavior, such as aggression. Now tell me something. So, like this line, most animals exposed to mirror respond only with social behavior such as aggression. Now, what does it mean? Does it mean that the animal is able to identify this is me? Or what it thinks that this is someone else, some other individual? Akshay says, do to memorize all the formula. No, Akshay. When I'll be starting the classes, I'll just give you the observations and logical reasoning behind all the observations. You'll be able to create your own formulae. That will actually be very exciting. Now, tell me this thing which I asked right now. This line specifically, most animals exposed to a mirror respond only with social behavior such as aggression. So what does it mean? That the animal is can identify that this is another individual, or it thinks that it is the same? Nobody's answering that. They think it's another individual, right, Naveen? Right. And that is why they become aggressive. First reaction of animals is aggression towards other individual. The reason is simple, that they are trying to defend themselves. They're trying to defend their territory, their society, and all that stuff. So they become very aggressive, right? That is social behavior. Cool. However, in the case of the great apes, what are great apes? Chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas. Like I have used a chimpanzee over here. These are the great apes, orangutan, etc. However, in the case of the great apes, repeated exposure to mirrors leads to self-directed behaviors such as exploring the inside of the mouth. So now this is interesting. So if an animal starts looking in the mirror and analyzing his or her mouth, what does that mean? That the animal identifies that this is my image, this is not someone else. All right. Akshay, here do we assume that animals have low thinking capacity? We are not assuming it, Akshay. This is based on the studies of Gordon Gallup according to the statement given over here. So we don't have to assume anything while answering a question. We don't have to use our general knowledge as well. Whatever is given in the passage, that is the main source of our information for answering the question. Okay? Well, so self-directed behaviors such as exploring the inside of the mouth, suggesting that these animals recognize the reflection as an image of self. The implication of these studies is that the great apes have a capacity for self-awareness unique among non-human species. So humans had that ability now, and it was unique. It was unique. And for non-human species, self-awareness was not as much evident as in the case of great apes and humans. Okay, all right. So this is what I have just explained you the entire statement. Now coming to the question. This is the question. The cognitive scientist makes which of the following assumptions in the argument above? Option A says, Gallup's work has established that the great apes have a capacity for MSR unique among non-human species. Well, so what do you think? Has the scientist, has he made this, just a minute, has he made this assumption? Do you think that? Basically, when he has written this, he must have made an assumption. So is the first assumption correct? Gallup's work has established that great apes have a capacity for MSR unique among non-human species. Gallup's work has not established this. Okay, look at this. It says, using the pioneering work of comparative psychology, basically using the work of Gordon Gallup, this cognitive scientist is making a statement, is giving his opinion. So Gallup's work has not established this yet, right? And even if it has, that is not the assumption of the cognitive scientist. So this statement is not that strong, right? Coming to second one, if an animal does not have the capacity for MSR, it does not have the capacity of self-awareness. See, this passage is not about Gordon's work. This passage is all about self-awareness of humans, which the cognitive scientist is talking about based on Gordon's work, right? So based on Gordon's work, cognitive scientist is saying that if an animal has the MSR, if an animal can identify that the mirror is, whatever he sees in the mirror is a self-recognition. So if the animal has the capacity of MSR, that means the animal is self-aware. So this passage is all about self-awareness. It's not about the scientific observation of Gordon Gallup, right? It's a cognitive observation from a cognitive scientist who can be someone else, not Gordon. So B statement looks really correct. It says if an animal does not have the capacity for MSR, it does not have the capacity for self-awareness. Because nothing else has been mentioned about the self-awareness of an animal except the fact that it has MSR, right? In the passage only MSR has been represented, established as the tool to identify the capacity of self-awareness among non-human animals. Clear? So option B looks correct. But before marking option B, we should read option C and D as well. So I'll just put a question mark over here and read C and D, and then we can go back to option B. Option C says, if a researcher exposes an animal to a mirror and that animal exhibits social behavior, that animal is incapable of being self-aware. This has been mentioned in the passage, but of course this cannot be the assumption, right? So exhibiting social behavior is not the only thing which is being considered in this paragraph. What do you think, Naveen and others? What do you think? Can C be correct? An animal who has MSR is self-aware, but an animal who exhibits social behavior is not self-aware. That is not correct. That will be an unwarranted assumption. That means C is not correct, right? So if someone says this thing is true, that doesn't mean other things are false. Got it? Got it? That is why C is incorrect. Coming to D. When exposed to a mirror, all animals display either social behavior or self-directed behavior. No, even that has not been mentioned. It is said that the great apes have this ability of self-directed behavior, and other animals have this they exhibit social behavior, they display it, but it is not talking about the entire animal kingdom. So of course that is, again, would not be the assumption. That's not been talked, it's not a statement, neither an assumption, it's nothing. E. Animals that do not exhibit MSR may demonstrate a capacity for self-awareness in other ways. Now, this can be a thought, this can be an argument. This can be an argument which can weaken this statement provided in the passage, right? If we consider option E, of course is not an assumption, but what is it? Option E is basically an argument which can weaken, right, Akshay? That's what I'm discussing, how to eliminate the option choices. Option E can be an assumption which can weaken the observation given in the passage, right? Option E talks about there can be other ways, not just MSR. There can be other ways through which an animal can be self-aware except MSR. So if this statement is considered, this will be a statement which can weaken the argument. All right? Exactly, Saurabh. This can be true, but we can't assume this, of course. And that cannot be the assumption behind writing this passage. So, all in all, now we are sure that our first choice, that was option B, is totally and definitely correct. Right? So, I think critical reasoning is the part which you must have enjoyed the most. Right, Saurabh? E might be true, but we don't have enough data. Exactly. Okay, tell me something. Like I personally enjoy critical reasoning a lot in the geometry. That actually gives you brainstorming. Do you feel that? This was, of course, a moderately difficult question. There can be more difficult ones. Akshay feels problem solving is the most difficult. I'll make that easy for you, Akshay. Don't worry about that. Cool. Now we are going for a sentence correction question. A leading figure in the Scottish Enlightenment, Adam Smith's two major books are to Democratic Capitalism, what Marx is thus capitalist to socialism. Okay, one GK question. Who was Adam Smith? Anybody? Who was Adam Smith? Anybody tell me who was Adam Smith? Akshay, Shells, anyone? No? Adam Smith is considered to be father of modern economics. You should know it. I'll be taking some sessions in which I'll be discussing. Yeah, Saurav, right. Father of modern economics, Saurav, to be precise. I'll be taking some sessions in which I'll be discussing some business and economics related GK. Okay, so we'll do that. Akshay, of course, Scottish economist, and he was the father of modern economics. Well, now look at the options. We have to rectify the sentence. First says, Adam Smith's two major books are to democratic capitalism. What? Basically, the statement A, the option A, is same as the what has been underlined inside the in the problem statement. So there is a possibility that there is no error. There is no error. We'll just mark option A. Akanksha, wealth of nations. Exactly. Bingo. Good, Akanksha. Are you from economics background? Let's read other options. Okay, Saurabh. Drop the modern part. That's very important, man. Okay. Option B. Adam Smith's two major books are to democratic capitalism, like Marx's thus capitalist to socialism. Like and is cannot be used grammatically. Let's read more options, then we'll come to the conclusion. Option C says, Adam Smith's two major books are to democratic capitalism, just as Marx's thus capitalist to socialism. Is he correct? Has somebody written C? Let's read D first. Adam Smith wrote two major books that are to democratic capitalism, similar to Marx's Das Kapital is to socialism. See, when we have used is to already, similar to is redundant. We do not have to use similar to, right? I think you get it. When you have used already, we have used is to. When we have compared already, then why are we using this? So we cannot compare two things two times, right? So D is, of course, not the correct one. We are sure about it. Coming to E. Adam Smith wrote two major books that are to democratic capitalism, what Marx's Das Kapital is to socialism. There are two things about this. When we are comparing Adam Smith's work to Marx's work, we are using a ratio kind of statement, right? Now look at this. Is to R2. This is a parallel thing, you know? This is parallel. This looks like correct. So it looks like a ratio. That is how we compare two things, right? So what Adam Smith is to democratic capitalism, what Adam Smith's work is to democratic capitalism, is Marx's Das Kapital is to socialism. Clear? Yeah, Akshay, that's what I said. It's parallelism. Comparing, we are comparing in terms of parallelism. So this one looks the most correct, of course. Here also R2 is there, here also is there, here also is there. So now we are sure that D cannot be the answer, but what about A, B, C, and E? So we have eliminated option D, right? Someone asked me how to eliminate options. We have eliminated D by using the concept of parallel errors. Now, how do we eliminate other three options? Well, all right. So, see, here it is written, a leading figure in the Scottish Enlightenment, and then a comma comes, and then the next clause starts. So, what is this point actually talking about? Is it talking about Adam Smith? Or is it talking about the books that he has written? That is the question, right? Is the statement talking about Adam Smith, or is it talking about the work of Adam Smith? Tell me. Shoot this in the comments. It is talking about the leading figure, which is Adam Smith himself. No, Raymond, it is talking about see, a leading figure in the Scottish Enlightenment. Talking about Adam Smith. So Adam Smith has to be more important grammatically in the statement. Right? Right. So if you look at option E, it talks about Adam Smith wrote 2 major books. All right? Adam Smith wrote 2 major books. So importance of Adam Smith in statement E is more than statements A, B, or C. Here it says Adam Smith's 2 major books. Adam Smith's 2 major books. In all of these 3 statements, it talks about the major books. While the statement opens with Adam Smith himself, the work comes afterwards. So here, Adam Smith wrote 2 books, so Adam Smith becomes more important, and that is why the correct answer is option E. Clear? Is that clear, everyone? Cool. Saurav, it's clear, and more people, I cannot see the comments, but yeah, I feel that's clear to everyone. Cool. So guys, these are the topics that I wanted to take for today's session. And of course, we cannot cover everything. We have integrated reasoning as well. We have analytical writing. And like I have been writing for last 20 years. Like I was I was not even a teenager when I started writing. And this thing helped me to score really well in the essays, analytical writing. So in case you have any kind of doubts in essays, writing your statement of purpose, getting the letters of recommendation, which is very important while in the profiling and admission consultancy. Analytical writing part is very important. So of course, I can train you in that as well, but that is not possible here. Moreover, I would like all of you to shoot in the comments any query, any doubt that you have regarding iQuanta, regarding the trainers, regarding the program of Gmat, regarding anything. Just shoot in the comments, and I'll personally be answering that comments. Okay. So this is where I'd like to end the session. Oh, Akshay, one doubt. Yeah, Akshay, tell me. Since GR is also accepted, yeah. Okay, good. Akshay, that depends on which course you want to go for. You want to go for MBA or you want to go for plain masters. So majority of Ivy League colleges accept GMAT scores for their management programs, right? And majority of colleges accept GRE scores for their master's program. You want to have master's in of course, MBA is also there, but you would get more access, a better access, a wider reach to all the colleges if you write GMAT. Depends on you want to go for management course or any academic master's course, right? Cool. So this is where I want to end the session. It was really wonderful interacting with you all. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.